Hey everyone, as Lynn said, my name is Charlie. I'm not necessarily what one thinks of when they think of a Wattle Fellow. So the experience that I'm going to share with you tonight really highlights the magic of this program and is very much in keeping with the conference theme, unconventional with purpose. I graduated from Imperial College London and started off my career in public relations. Giving away my age slightly, I then went to work in Beijing doing PR for the 2008 Olympics. And this was the first time I was exposed to or really paid attention to climate change, pollution, inequity, and the inequalities of the climate crisis. I used to cycle to work every day, and within a couple of days, when I blew my nose, it was black. When I got back to the UK, the world was falling into a global recession, and there was not a job in PR to be found. So mainly to appease my parents, I became a lawyer. And not knowing at the time that I could work in that field and do something about the climate change, about the climate crisis. But after qualifying in the UK, it felt like time for another adventure. So in 2015, I moved to Melbourne. There are trams in Manchester too, by the way. And was lucky enough to spend the best part of a decade working at a law firm called Minter Ellison. And that firm really helped shape my life here. I got a career out of it and a husband. I spent the first 4 years at Minter's working as a commercial litigator, as I had done in the UK, and then the opportunity arose to move into the climate risk governance team, which at the time was Australia's only corporate climate team. In 2020, I began the Master of Environment to get a better understanding of the climate science, the Paris Agreement, and all of the things I knew a little bit about, but wanted and felt like I needed more to practice that area of law. And one day, I might just finish it. It is 16 subjects in my defense. But during my time at Minter's and subsequently at Herbert Smith Freehills, I had the opportunity to be involved in some really cool and impactful work. However, after a while, work started to feel really hard, and I was burnt out, not just because I had spent the best part of 10 years working full-time in corporate law firms and studying, but the enormity of the subject matter and that constant underlying niggling of not doing enough became really overwhelming. And not to mention the other thing that's kept me quite busy over the last 3 years, my identical twin daughters, Lenny and Dylan. I cared deeply about the climate crisis before having kids, and so it was a difficult and complex decision to bring children into this world, and it has really heightened that fear and grief and anxiety, and again, that feeling of wanting to do more. So in a chaotic, very busy, real hot mess of a time of life, I thought it would be a good idea to do something else, and I applied to Wattle. Thanks to one of my fellow fellows, Harry, who sent me the application, and I was lucky enough to be accepted. So I joined the fellowship as a mature student, very mature by Melbourne University's definition, which is rude, but already working in the field of climate risk. This was much less about the project for me or working out what I wanted to do after I finished my studies, but the leadership part. And Wattle has really given me the space to explore who I am and who I want to be as a climate leader, and given me the opportunity to try things I otherwise would not. Throughout the course of the year, we've had lots of sessions that have prompted thinking about how I can live and work sustainably without burning out and grappling with those hard questions of systems change. What's better, working in the system, influencing the small parts you can, or coming outside of it and trying to change that way? Still thinking about that one, and obviously don't have all of the answers, but what I do now have an appreciation for is that impact does not mean me changing the world, which sounds silly saying out loud, but I think all of those pieces of work I had up there and professional accolades I had before didn't feel sort of quote-unquote enough, because companies were still digging coal out the ground and to a large extent using climate as a marketing tool. So now to my Wattle project. It wasn't just a year of self-discovery and learning about how impact doesn't have to just be me, what I do, but it's the unmeasured, unseen things. You'd have no idea the impact that one conversation or one action can take and what that will trigger somebody else to do. So following my year and several quite boring, fitting well within my legal skills attempts, and guided by Lynn's ever-wise counsel, I came up with a better, different idea that brings together the things that I really like doing, talking and learning, and embracing the craziness of parenting, and bringing the learnings of impact and community. So with my sister, we have a podcast. She inconveniently lives on the other side of the world, so recording is an absolute nightmare. But through insightful conversations and hot tips from experts, we want to navigate what it means to bring children and have kids in a climate crisis when, in all honesty, you're just clinging on for dear life every day anyway. And the final thing I want to share about my Wattle experience is that I'm really ending this year with a new sense of resolve and hope and community. Through my inspirational fellows, some of whom you've already heard from tonight, all of whom are on their own path of driving impact and change, and the plethora of amazing people that we've had the opportunity to meet through Lynn and the fellowship, I've been reminded that there are so many different people all working with the same collective goal, that all of our futures, the generations to come, and Lenny and Dylan's future isn't looking that bleak after all. Thank you.